This program on investing under Regulation Crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome to the Superpowers for Good show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and I want to welcome everyone, but especially first-time viewers. I recognize that every week our audience seems to grow, and I want to make sure that you who are new feel welcomed and acknowledged. You are really helping us. I encourage you to stick around and watch the entire show and to consider coming back. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we're broadcasting at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, and the recordings are widely available, so check us out. We would love to have you become a part of our community. I'm really excited today to introduce you to Craig Jonas. He is a great human being. He's the CEO and founder of a company called CoPeace, a social impact holding company that is doing some remarkable things. I love to think of him as a dear friend. He's also an investor in the Super Crowd Inc., the business that produces this show. We're excited to have Craig on the show. Craig, welcome back.
Great to be here, Devin. Honored to be here with your new viewers. Excited to tell the story.
Well, we're excited to have you and recognize that a lot of the folks that'll watch today weren't watching probably when we had you on the show before. Our audience has grown so much. So this is exciting stuff. Craig, give us a quick overview of CoPeace so we can frame our discussion with some context.
Yeah, CoPeace is using investing as a force for good. So we've been at it for a little while. We've learned a few things, and we're getting ready to launch a much larger fund because we see a lot of need out here in the impact investing space. And as we grow, we feel like we can have even more influence with larger checks and larger investments in the companies that are doing good things for the world.
This is so important. The work that you're doing, the difference you're making, and I'm excited to learn more about it. You have raised capital in a variety of ways, including raising capital from the crowd. You've done a successful WeFunder campaign. What have you learned from raising impact capital from the crowd and elsewhere that you could share with us, especially our change maker entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out how to raise capital themselves?
Yeah, well, we've learned a lot, and we continue to learn. Very honestly, I think the number one learning is that it's not magic. It takes work to develop the crowd that might want to invest in what you're doing. I think it's also so important. I mean, so many communities have not had the access to growing their wealth through equity investing, and the crowdfunding platforms allow that to happen. I've personally invested in 40 or so crowdfunding campaigns, and I really enjoy being part of that community. For us at CoPeace, not only have we used the crowdfunding to help us grow, but we've also used it as a way to kind of find good companies that we're interested in investing in ourselves. So I think the whole space has evolved nicely. I think a lot of people think it's easier than it is, but as you get out there and kind of learn some of the skills and tools that you need, it's an opportunity to make things equalized, equal footing for so many.
It is kind of a magical, fun place. I think about how much I enjoy investing via crowdfunding compared to the experience of investing in the stock market. I've been a stock market investor for decades, and I get so much more pleasure, just pure selfish pleasure out of the crowdfund investing aspects than I do from the stock market. But tell us about the impact. What are some of the impacts that you've been able to see at CoPeace as you've invested in and supported and sometimes purchased outright businesses?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you seeing in terms of that impact?
Yeah. Well, that is one of the big questions. We have worked hard at trying to get better at answering that. We're using some technology and harnessing a little AI now to help filter and describe some of that impact. And for us, it's been a case by case basis. So we've looked at a lot of companies. I think we looked at over 400 now, and we are trying to find things that have the impact we're seeking. So we're currently a certified B Corp. Our score just went up 20 points recently, which is cool. It's a kind of a stamp of approval that we're doing the work, and we use some of our learnings in the B Corp space as well as the UN SDGs. We recently presented at the UN and talked about how there's such a need for capital to be deploying in these impactful spaces. And then I think the thing that we've been able to do well is apply a narrative. So because we're looking at everything on a case by case basis, we're finding things that have probably been not found by traditional funders. And if we're able to tell the story of that company, we feel good about using our investors' capital to invest in these companies.
It seems to me that one of the big dilemmas in this space is the sense that I think is wrong, but that there are no opportunities to make money while doing good. Some people are absolutely convinced the two cannot harmonize, and that opinion varies from rigid, strident, it can't be done, to softer, well, generally, and and I get that there are times when we need to use our philanthropic capital and expect a lower return when we're supporting something we really care about. But I also see lots of opportunities to get the same rate of return with the same risk profile on an impact investment that I would on a non-impact investment. How are you seeing it, and how are you articulating that to your investors?
For sure. Yeah, well said, Devin. Not only are we seeing kind of market-based returns, but the data is showing that it is a good business decision to care about the future of our world, so that we're striving for a better than a market place return. And there's so much need and so many things that we need to support that we feel like with a strong return, we can amplify that impact so that it extends in a way that's much more long term than what somebody might look at as more of a philanthropic investment. So yeah, we've got a couple of examples where somebody was looking at, hey, I think I can get a grant, and then that grant ran out, and then the impact and the business stopped doing what it was doing, versus, hey, if there's a little bit of a profit in a way to provide a strong return there, that amplifies that impact and allows that impact to continue. So I agree with you that the crowdfunding and creative sources of bringing in money help kind of diversify. It de-risks. It's not correlated with the market, and it has a different kind of upside potential.
It really is exciting to think about how we can have impact and financial returns.
Yeah, it sounds idealistic. It sounds idealistic, and initially, a lot of our people we talk to kind of think it is, and then the more we talk them through how we're doing this, the more they're like, "Wow, that you not only can we do that, we have to do it this way."
Yeah.
And as we're getting the transfer of wealth, from older traditional investors to younger people and more women. They're seeking this more and more. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Many people, I want to pull out an example. Many people would argue that EVs are a part of a climate change solution.
Hmm.
It's not universally agreed, but many agree.
Hmm.
It's a consensus. Um, Tesla was a pretty good investment, you know,
Hmm.
and so there's just that is kind of a flagship impact investment that proves, in my mind, that you can have impact uh,
Yeah.
and a financial return. As you look forward, how are you beginning to think more with, let me dare say, greater sophistication about
Mm.
measuring impact? That's challenging. And it's,
Yeah.
I remember first pondering this question a decade ago, more, no, it was a dozen years ago, starting to think about how to measure it. And it's still challenging. It's still a challenge. It's not easy or automatic. How do you think about it?
Yeah, no, it's not easy or automatic. The I think we're able to harness some technology so that we're able to glean a little more data now and then spit out scoring and some other things that we can demonstrate to our community that this is truly an impactful investment, and it, it's also very honestly evolving. It's evolving in front of us. We have the tool that we're using continues to change and bring in more um, inputs. We have a new impact director that is helping us here at CoPeace, and she is very motivated to make sure that we demonstrate the impact that we're seeking and that we're espousing to demonstrate. We do as a public benefit corporation and as a B Corp, we do talk about our impact and create a annual report. We call it the Harvest. So we're that's a public facing document that people can see about what we're doing.
Yeah. I really appreciate what you're doing and the difference you're making in the world. We've got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk further. Folks, I'm here with Craig Jonas. He's the CEO and founder of CoPeace. It's a holding company that makes impact investments. They've raised successfully from the crowd in the past under regulation crowdfunding, continue to raise via a lot of channels. They've got big plans for the future, raising a big fund that will give them more opportunity to invest in even more projects at higher scale. Very, very cool. We're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to talk to Craig about his superpowers. So stick around. You don't want to miss this.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding, the book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Savikas raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy.
Ready to take your small business to the next level? Honeycomb Credit empowers diverse entrepreneurs by connecting you with community-driven funding. Build customer relationships, amplify your brand, and grow with those who believe in you. Honeycomb Credit, where your community invests in you.
Scan the QR code to start today.
Join the Impact Crowdfunding movement. Get Superpowers for Good, your free daily newsletter with exclusive video replays, a podcast, and the latest investment opportunities open to everyone. Join the super crowd. Scan now so you can learn to make money while you make a difference.
Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I'm so excited today. We're here with Craig Jonas, who's the CEO and founder of CoPeace, an amazing company. I like to count Craig as something as a friend. He's invested in the Super Crowd, the company that produces this show, the Superpowers for Good. Great human being. We're going to shift gears now to talk to Craig about his superpower. Stick around. Craig, you really are an exceptionally accomplished human being. And recognized nationally as an authority in so many ways. What is your superpower?
Yeah, thanks, Devin. When you asked me that, I thought I thought for a little bit, and I think my superpower is empathic awareness, and the ability to kind of perceive what others are thinking. At least, that I guess is that perception would be a superpower on a poker table. But I think I like to think it's something that is helpful in navigating this new world of crowdfunding and impact investing, and and really trying to listen to the needs of the other, and some of the people that we are engaged with in the communities that we're trying to help grow. That is, hopefully a superpower that treats us well as we evolve. I mean, we are, as you said, we're getting ready to launch a much larger fund. I think one of our learnings at CoPeace was that we can't be all things to all people, and we need to be a little more focused on what we invest in. And so we're going to use some of that superpower and empathic awareness to find companies that in the healthcare and the sports space. These are two areas that we know well. So I'd like to think that's one of my superpowers. I don't know if my wife would always agree with that, but that's the first thing I thought of when you asked me my superpower.
Yeah, I suspect that is a superpower, Craig. When we think about empathic awareness, I think that's a challenge for a lot of us. I wonder, can you recall, remember a time when you used your empathic awareness for in a specific event, a specific situation? We just illustrate, oh, that's the key.
Yeah. So, my one of my former lives, I was a coach, and I was selected to be the first American basketball coach to give townships in post-apartheid South Africa, and I I remember being in Google to one of the townships, and uh, there being some fear in where I was going to go, and I remember seeing the eyes of the young people that were taking me into the community to give this basketball clinic, and just to be able to, I don't know, just to feel, at least begin to feel, some of the things that they had been feeling for so long, was something that I feel like they appreciated in me. And when we were able and gave them some confidence, and when we were able to get to the clinic and give the instruction to the young people, everybody had a good time, and it was just, it also kind of inspired me. I was like, this is something, Nelson Mandela is right. Sport has the power to change the world. So yeah, I remember, I remember that scenario.
That's a great example, of what you're talking about. And I congratulate you for that. Kind of exciting to have been in South Africa in
Yep,
those early days after apartheid ended in the 90s. Wow, that's
really was.
um, Craig. All of us, have some empathy. There are times when all of us can feel that. But I think
Hmm.
a lot of us would like to be able to deepen that ability, to better
Hmm.
understand the circumstances, the pain, and feel greater compassion for what others are experiencing. Can you give us any
Yeah.
tip? Can you coach us as someone who has
Well, you gave me goosebumps talking about it. Coaching that is, yes, yeah, I mean, yes, you can learn it. My parents were very socially justice minded, and I grew up in India for a little while, and just kind of uh, being around their modeling uh, helped me, and so I think maybe just taking a, a an extra step, an extra deep breath, an extra a beat of time, and allow yourself to realize that everybody's coming into whatever scenario they're in from a different space, and with a different background and different level experience, um, and to be able to kind of feel that for just even a moment, I think is something that is powerful and can be impactful, and kind of get us uh, on the way of being empathically aware. But it's not an easy thing to teach, that's for sure. But I think we all can get better at it, including myself.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The role models and
Hmm.
sort of experiencing, being able to watch people like you who manifest their empathy in ways that we can observe. That's helpful. Can you think of any other tips that would help us deepen our empathy toward others? It's, you know, I think we all, there are a lot of us who say we're
Yeah,
empathetic, right? That we
of
feel
course.
this compassion for others, but it's so common for us to make exceptions. Well, these people
Yeah,
or those people, we don't really include them because they don't
yeah,
observe my standards. And I think
yeah,
of some of my favorite episodes of Jon Stewart's show when he used to do it. I guess he does it again, but he was on the show, and he would interview liberals or his team would interview liberals at conferences and get them to say the meanest, vilest, hatefulest things about
hmm
rednecks or Republicans,
hmm
and you just cringe in the aftermath, because they would say, "Oh
yep,
yeah, everyone's equal," and then they'd get them to say,
yeah, yeah,
"How?"
yep,
So if we kind of admit we all have that
yeah.
ability to hate and resent,
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
we overcome that?
I think becoming uncomfortable and going to places that are different for you. Whether it's and I think one of the things that we learned as young people growing up in India is that everybody is the same, and that you don't need a lot of material things to be happy, and so to be able to be foisted in different situations and different environments and different cultures um, really brings it home. I think the more you get to know, what you consider the other, the more that you realize that we're all the same. So, you know, going to a restaurant in a community that where everybody looks different than you do, and or things like that. I think as challenging as that might be for so many people, that that goes a long way to understand that we're all the same.
Yeah, that is a great point. It's a great point, and I try to do that, but I've got to do better. And I
Yeah,
appreciate
we
your
all do.
counsel. But as we wrap up, Craig, how can people connect with you personally? How can they learn more about CoPeace? Follow what you're doing. I'm sure people are interested.
Yeah.
They don't want this conversation to end. How can they continue it?
Well, thank you, Devin. We will be updating our website. We are in the process of transitioning to become CoPeace Capital. We think one of the things that's been a little confusing to the marketplace is that CoPeace is seeking a strong return and seeking strong impact. So that combination is clearly spelled out in CoPeace Capital. So you can go to copeace.com. We do have multiple ways that people can invest in us. More on that to come. As you know, we raised a little over 600,000 on WeFunder, and that was a good experience for us. And we're exploring different ways for us to continue to raise capital.
Fantastic. Well, Craig, thank you so much for being with us. We want to wish you every success in the great work that you're doing to change the world and make money for people.
Thank you so much.
All righty.
Really appreciate being here.
All righty. Now let's do some good.